Today I'm going to show you how to create a composite like this one in Photoshop using an image of a camera and one I made in Zion National Park. Here's the road image in Zion and here's the camera. Before we begin, there are a couple of technical issues I need to address. First, your image with the road, river, railroad tracks, or whatever image you use should fill the entire bottom of that image, such as the road in this one. Using something that doesn't fill the frame at the bottom just doesn't work. Next, make sure that the images you plan to composite have the same bit depth. To check that, go to Image, Mode, and you'll see that the 8-bit per channel is checked. I often use 8 bits per channel because some of Photoshop's tools don't work in 16 and 32 bits. Let's get started. First, we're going to copy the image of the camera and make it a layer on the Zion image. So go to the camera image, take your Move tool, grab the layer, move it up to the road layer, drop down so that the highlight area, area is highlighted, and then hold down the Shift key and release. That will place the camera in the center of the image. And if you look at the layers palette, we now have the background layer and the camera layer. And I'm going to rename this by double-clicking on it and type camera. The next thing we need to do is to make a selection of the lens. To do that, we're going to use the elliptical marquee tool, which you'll find in the toolbar near the top. Oftentimes it's the rectangular marquee that is the default, so you'll need to right-click and click on the elliptical marquee tool. We're going to make a selection of the lens in this case. So to do that, we're going to hold down the Shift key as we make that selection, because the Shift key will cause that ellipse to become a full circle. So hold down the Shift key, drag out your selection and release. Now you'll note that it doesn't fit perfectly, but your tool will turn into a move tool, so you can move it and it'll fit right over that lens. Now, the thing about this selection is that we're going to be using a mask, but if we use a mask now, it will automatically mask out everything except the selection, and we don't want that. We want the mask to select or to delete the area where the lens is. So to do that, we're going to go up to Select and select Inverse, and you'll see from the marching ants that it has selected everything other than the lens. Before we apply our layer mask, we're going to save this selection by going to Select, Save Selection, and we're going to call this selection Camera. And we're going to click OK. Next, we're going to apply a layer mask to reveal the image below. Make sure the camera layer is selected and click on the layer mask icon at the bottom of the layer palette. And when you do that, you'll see that part of our layer below has been revealed. The next part of this process is to make sure that the rest of the road is selected. Now, how do we do that, and especially since we can't see it? Well, simply go to make sure you've selected the camera layer, go to the opacity slider and reduce the opacity to about 30%. And you'll see that now you can see the road perfectly through that top image. The next step is to take our pen tool, which is in the toolbar just above the text icon. use the pen and pick a spot inside the camera along the edge of the road, and then we're going to place markers using the pen tool all the way along the edge of the road. And when we get to the bottom side, we're going to cross over, make a selection there, and follow the road by making selections there. Then connect the dots. Next thing we need to do is right click with the pen tool selected and choose Make Selection. The Make Selection box will come up. You have the option to choose the number of pixels to feather. I commonly use 2 to make sure that the edge is not real sharp. So click OK. And the next step we're going to do is reveal more of this road. So we're going to make sure that the mask is selected in your layers palette. Then we're going to choose a brush and make sure that the foreground color is black. And then we're going to paint with black to reveal the bottom layer below the selection. Now, because you've made a selection, you can move your brush over other parts of the image and nothing will happen. Only it will paint where within the lines of the selection. Next thing we want to do is to delete the selection by doing Control D. Then we'll go back up to the camera layer and change the opacity to 100%. Now that's looking pretty good, but it would be nice if our mountain was a better view of the mountain, shall we say. So we're going to make that happen, and what we're going to do is go to our background layer, click on the lock to unlock it, make a copy of it by pressing Control J. The next thing we'll do is select the layer 0 copy and the camera layer. We're going to do that by holding down the Control key and selecting both of them. Then we're going to go to the Select menu, Layer menu, and click on Merge Layers. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is to go back and get that selection that we saved before. So go to the Select menu, Load Selection, click on the channel and choose Camera. Click OK, and you'll see that the entire matter has been selected again. And so this time we're going to again put a layer mask on that, but it doesn't seem to do anything. But here's the trick. Select the layer 0, take your move tool, and we can move down that mountain so it looks better. Another option we can do is Control T, which will allow us to transform that layer, and we can move it around, make it larger or smaller, like that. And once we've done that, hit Enter. And now that's placed the mountain in the right place, but our road has gone away. We want to reveal the bottom layer, so grab your brush, make sure the layer mask is selected, and that the foreground color is white. Then paint to reveal the road. Making sure everything blends well. You may want to zoom, take your zoom tool and zoom in to make sure that everything is blended well. If not, you can again take your brush and paint in more, changing the size of your brush if necessary to allow more information in. Or if you've got things you don't want, again, change the color back by pressing the X key, and you'll blend your layers. When you're done, you can crop it, use filters or adjustment layers to enhance any parts of the image that you want to adjust. And that's it. I hope this video has been helpful and that you liked it. Thank you for watching.